Hello guys, welcome to a new series where we are learning how to set up a new Next.js project. Okay, so suppose we are going to create a very simple landing page in Next.js for now. So let me create a new folder and there's a command that we can use npx create next app, and I will use dot to create in the same folder. It will ask me few things. Do I would like to use TypeScript? Yes. ESLint is for linting, which gives me code suggestions as I type. Tailwind CSS, we are going to use it. We want to put all our code under a separate src directory and an app router. So we are doing yes to all of the things and no to this customization. We don't want to do a customization. Now based on this, we have created a new Next.js project. Everything we have, we don't have to check the node modules. Node modules are the dependencies that we need to run the project. All of the files that we want to access publicly are going to be stored in the public folder. So all the images and whatever you want can be stored here. Okay, like the image that you see here. Then our code, as we chose to put everything inside the src folder, we have a src app directory. So we see a layout.tsx, page.tsx, everything is in TypeScript. Okay, now I want to go and I will do npm run dev. So with next 15, that is turbo pack, I have a thing running locally at localhost. So now this tells me to get started by editing src app page.tsx. So I will go there. So src app page.tsx, where I am already in. So first we will do is, just to keep things simple, we are going to erase everything and we'll create a JSX fragment. Okay, and now we'll create a new div tag with a class name, and we'll need to keep the height to full width also to the screen is equal to 100 viewport height. Okay, like H screen is height 100 viewport H, W screen is 100 viewport width. And in this, so right now we are going to create a very simple to show hello world, that is it. So as you see, as I make the change, I see a hello world at the top. So in the first video here, we are actually going to simply learn about layouts, what layouts are. So right now we made a 100 viewport height and 100 viewport width screen. I will give it a color. Let me give it red color, and similarly I will create few more. I will give it yellow and green. So I have three sections now, three screens, and this also works for mobile devices. If I go to inspect element and if I click here, I can see it in my mobile screen. I can choose between different screens how it looks like. I can also check for large screen laptops. I can check for 4K, how will it look in 4K. I can zoom it and zoom out, but this will show the default zoom, and this 50% is for fitting the width. Like if I want to see how it looks closely, this is how I will do. If I do it 50%, okay, this is not working exactly, but okay. And you can simulate what do you want to, like the page load, how should it be. No throttling means your default internet speed, and then you can switch to a mid tier, low end tier, and offline. And this is to rotate the orientation, change the orientation from landscape to portrait. Because suppose if you have a phone, right, you are going to rotate and see it as well, so you can just imagine. But also know that when you have a browser, some of your space, like almost this much space, already is taken up by the search and your notifications part. Okay, so we are going to go forward, and we have created a single layout page here. Now we are going to change it into double layout. Okay, two column layout. Every tailwind is made up of up to 12 grid system. We can change it up into 12 grid system. So right now, let us first try with two column layout. What is a two column layout? So I will create one more div, and I will give it w1 by 2, and I will create one more with w1 by 2. I will put this hello world here and hello world here. So now will this show side by side, or will it not? So I will show with whether the background has changed or not, like the width has changed or not. So okay, now we see hello world, two elements which have 50% width, but they are one below the other. How do we keep it? Wait, also I need to find the extension that is doing this. Okay, I think there is something called fold. Okay, this inline fold, I will disable it for the. Okay, so now you see my code by default here on what I mean. So we are going to add a flex property which changes the display to flex, and this will now instantly take a full screen, full height, and also change it into two column layouts. Now suppose if I create one more, so what will happen is it will change it to three column layout. Okay, let me change it to 9. Okay, so it will change it to three column layout. Suppose if I add something else to 800. Okay, let us try to go in series. We'll go with 100, 200, 300, 4. Then the 500 shade, 600 shade. So as you see, this W1 by 2 is not really working out. Why? Because we are now in the flex column. Okay. So to make it W1 by 2, to make it double width, we like 50 we don't actually need this. Just a flex property is enough, right? Like if I have the flex property and I comment out the other part of code, it will yeah, so it shows up here side by side. Okay, but it doesn't take the full width of the screen because it fits in the content, how much content I have. Now if I want to make it take the even space, I can also change it to W full. This also I will change to width full. So what will happen, it will try to take a full width, but it will only take half of the width because there are two people, right? Like the weight, the size is equally distributed. Now the third one also I add one more, and this will also be distributed, but because it's not asking for full width, it will only be given the width that it requires. Let me remove this. So it will only take the width that it requires. If I add this W full, then it will evenly distribute. So this is how flex actually works. Now there is a thing called, you can have a flex grow property as well, which we will see in the later on sections. But right now, suppose if you want to stack it one below the other, so what you will do flex column. Okay, so it will stack one below the other, and similarly you can do with height full, so it will eventually take up the space. And if you don't want to use flex, like imagine if you want to keep it like this, you can still go with this, and here you will divide the height 1/3. Okay, this height full 1 by 3 1 by 3. So you now have 3 elements without the use of flex. So why should I use flex is one of the questions. So you might have seen several websites and layouts where when you see it in mobile screen, it is a single layout, like things are one below the other, and when you see it on desktop, it is a different layout, like there it turns into rows. So that is what we are going to do right now. Let us create, we have a hello world written here, and I will change the shade to a bit dark shade, and I will have img src equals to image placeholder. Okay, and I will go to pixels.co, and I will copy any image, paste it. So now this image is here, which takes up 1/3 of the height. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to completely eliminate this property which gives the full height and 1/3 1/3 height and full width. And now I'm going to add a property here. So now you see this is just fitting in the context. I'm going to add a property flex here, which will change this to rows. By default flex is row, but in my mobile phone I want it to be flex column. Okay, and in my MD breakpoint, which is a tablet breakpoint, I want this to be reset to row. Okay, so what will happen, let me go to a tablet breakpoint, so it will be reset to row as you see side by side. So this is how this works, right? As soon as you switch to this, it changes here. Now you want to specify a default width, so I will specify a width 1 by 2. If I give it W full, it will attempt to take up the full width, but it will not get it. Okay, so this W full or W 1 by 2 is not based on the size that is allocated to this component, but based on the parent's size. Okay, the parent size is screen, right? So W1 by 2 will be half of the screen. I will also change this to W1 by 2. So now both are asking half of the screen. So now there is a mutual agreement, and no matter where it goes, it follows the half width approach. Now at least in mobile phone, I want that it should have the full width that is available. So I will change this breakpoint to just MD. MD is for tablet. Okay, tablets and all other screens bigger than tablet. If I want it to follow something else in desktop, like let's say in desktop I want this to change again to column, so I will do LG flex call. So now you see in mobile phone it is this column, and then it changes to row, then changes back to column. Okay, and now I can have LG W full because in desktop I would want a full column layout. Okay, so this is how you can work with different screens. I am going to complete this up in a better way. We are going to add a paragraph as well. This is my first hello world using Next.js. Okay, then some more paragraph lorem 24, so it will fill up the lorem ipsum text here. And now we'll make it better. So it will have flex column, and it will have height 1 by 2. As soon as it goes to this, it will take the full height, and we don't want to have for LG breakpoint right now, just so that we don't get confused. We are going to only target mobile and tablet. Okay, so this is how it looks in my mobile phone, and this is how it looks on my tablet. Now we learned some basics about layout using flex. Okay, there are several other properties as well, like suppose if I want to have a nav bar, and I can change it to fixed. Okay, so suppose example, okay, let us use this tab 9 pro. So mm, image I need to import. Okay, it is imported. Invalid src prop. Okay, I need to add this hostname image.pexels.com in our next config.js. So when I use img tag, I don't need to configure any of this, but for image I need to do. So let us go to next.config.ts, which is here, and I will add images. Yeah, okay, so domains, pexels.com, image.pexels.com. Okay, so now let us reload and see if Next.js image optimization works or not. So yeah, this works, and now it has given us a fixed image. Let me change its width to 400 and height to 200. It will not essentially take this, but it will uh, keep the ratio as we require. So I will switch to my mode here. Now as you can see that this image is fixed. Okay, wherever I go, whichever section I go, this image is always there. Let me reduce it a bit further to be 100 and 100. So as you see, no matter the width and height whatever we provide, it stays in its own aspect ratio. So we'll learn more about how these dimensions are calculated and what is the use of height and width and everything. For now we just focused on how to create this section, and here again I'm also going to add a button here. Okay, let me add a button. uh, Enter the screen something whatever. Okay, Now with flex we also have one more property. Like again I'm changing this to flex because these are one below the other. I can set a gap for all of it. Okay, and this gap 6 is whatever the numbers in tailwind are. Like if it is a whole number, you just need to multiply it by 4 to get the value in pixels, and uh, yeah, so 6 into 4 is 24. Okay, so 6 fours are 24, and when you hover on it you will be able to see that it's 24 pixels and the gap is 1.5 rem. Rem to pixels is very simple. This 24 you have to divide by 16, so you will get the rem value. It's advised to use rem for text. For text, if you use rem, it's very good and better quality. So okay, one thing is we wanted to have flex column, okay, because things are one below the other, and now you see that it works here as we wanted to do. But now flex also has some more things, like you can justify everything in the center, and items also you can justify in the center. So this puts everything in center. Suppose if I want to keep it left aligned, all the items, okay, also let me add a CSS property here. I will add star border 0.2 pixels solid weight. So now everything will have a border, so you can now understand how this layout works. So now hello world, my first hello world, everything is center aligned. Okay, and if I change this item start, then it will be, because it's a column, so it will be aligned at the left. Okay, and if it's a row, then item start will make it aligned to the top. Okay, so if I change items center, it will be center. If I change items end, it will be end. This is how it works in mm, for a row. Okay, so items control the cross axis, and justify contains the main axis. So if I change justify start, so everything will be aligned to the left, but here there is no space to actually show that, so I will change the flex to column. So column is top to down. Okay, so top to down, the main axis is the top axis, right? I mean main axis is top to down. I mean this is the main axis. Okay, so from the main axis, wherever, like if I want to place it in the exact center, I will do justify center, because justify is for main axis. Okay, and items is for cross axis, which is like the exact perpendicular always of the main axis. So if it's a column, the main axis is justify, and items start will put everything to the left. Okay, so this is what we wanted. We now have a very responsive UI, which also works for mobile screen. Okay, so that is it for this section. Also let me add height full to this so that it can take up the entire space. And if I add height full, no, height 1/2, right? So now this is evenly distributed. So now we have a nav bar, kind of a nav bar, which is fixed. Then we have a first section, second section, and the layout that goes like this. So in the next section we'll work further with some more concepts. What are different uh, like more about layouting, margins, paddings, and many other things. And slowly we will be moving to React 3 Fiber, and then 3JS. We'll learn some more about 3JS, and then we will move to React 3 Fiber. After we are we understand what React 3 Fiber does, what are the basic things of setting up a scene, camera, renderer, what is WebGL and everything, then we'll be moving on further with physics, which is we'll be using Rapier physics. Okay, on the web, will everything will be doing on the web and everything using Next.js. So this we have everything here, all the documents. Will be moving slowly by slowly. Make sure that you guys follow along.